fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Asajj Ventress' Ginivex Starfighter from the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron from Jazwares. We get the ship, and then of course we have Asajj Ventress herself, and you can see how you can place her into the cockpit there with the small graphic on the front. Spin it around to the back, shows off some of the features. You can angle the guns, looks like 30 degrees in either direction, and of course you can compress and extend the wings. Now I got this from Target.com, so of course they slapped a giant UPC sticker there right on the back, which I'm not too happy about, but not really too much. I've tried peeling it off, it would just become a giant mess, so there it will be. You can see the other two in this wave. We have a TIE Fighter and an AT-ST Walker, and then there are variants of those two, so you can see that we have kind of like different paint schemes for the two. There is no variant for the Ginivex Starfighter, which I guess they just didn't really know what else to do with it, but they were able to give us two different paint schemes. These variants I'm not as upset about because they're not completely different ships. They are just paint variants of exactly the same toy that you're going to get, so I can kind of live without them a little bit more than, say, like Vader's TIE Fighter versus Moff Gideon's TIE Fighter. They're very different ships, but one is supposedly a variant of the other. I don't get it, but at least here, just a little bit of a paint difference. I can kind of live without those chase vehicles. I mean, maybe I'll find one, but I kind of doubt it. So I'm going to go ahead, get this out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here's everything you get in the box. We'll go ahead and start with the small figure first. And she looks pretty good. I think they did a nice job molding the face. Obviously, these are so small that they can't really apply paint to the faces, but I think the molded detail is nice. Unfortunately, it looks like the head is two pieces of plastic, and you can kind of see where the seam starts kind of at her chin and goes up the side of the face, up top and around, and that's a little unsightly. I haven't really run into that in any other figures. It's possible that when they paint the hair, it covers most of it, and since she's bald, there's really nothing to cover it with. But I still think it looks pretty good, and I think the face is nicely sculpted. The paint for the dress looks pretty good, and she actually has her lightsabers, which I really appreciate. I don't think I've gotten any of these figures with weapons molded into their hands. I think this is the first one, so hopefully we'll get some Jedi down the line so they can have some lightsaber battles. But overall, not too bad. I do appreciate the lightsabers quite a bit. So the arms can move. They're supposed to move as one. Mine kind of don't, and I'm worried. I believe how this works is that they're on a bar, and that's why they move together, so I'm kind of hoping nothing breaks over time. But she also has a bend here at the waist, of course. So we'll go ahead and leave her sitting down so we can sit her in the cockpit. But yeah, overall, not too bad. Tiny little figure, but I think they did a pretty good job. So let's put her off to the side so we can focus on the Ginivex Starfighter. This one actually has a flight stand included, which I really appreciate. I've been wanting these pretty much for all of the ships. It makes total sense to me not to include them with ground-based vehicles, but I would really like it if all of the ships had flight stands, just because if you wanted to pose them on a shelf, especially like in a battle scene, I think that would be really cool. But basically how this works, it just pegs in. You can see it's got two little pegs right there, and there are two little peg holes underneath, and it just very easily just pops in. You can see that there's a cutout there for the wings, so there's no clearance issues. And it's perfect. It just sits right there, looks great. Now, unfortunately, you can't attach it when the wings are fully deployed, which I'll show off in a moment. It can only be used when they are folded up. But it does have Star Wars there. You can see it written right there. But yeah, otherwise I think this is really nice. Really nice inclusion. I wish more ships had these. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the Ginivex Starfighter here. So you can see we have a little bit of paint applications here along the body. A little red stripe right here. Nice translucent cockpit. And then we have these translucent wings that have a little bit of paint on them. And basically how this works is you just flip these up, and they kind of hit a normal stopping point. And then there you go. That is fully deployed. So let me zoom out here. And then you can go ahead and angle the guns so that they make more sense. Now, I could be wrong, but I thought in the cartoon the cockpit could swivel so that way to match the orientation of the ship. But unfortunately, that is not happening here. So I don't know if that is something that happens on the show, or maybe it doesn't. I'm just misremembering it, or maybe it's just a limitation of the line that they couldn't build that in. But either way, I think it looks really cool with the wings fully deployed here. I do appreciate that the guns can swivel to kind of match the configuration. That's really nice. The cockpit opens very simply. There's a little hinge right here on the top, so you kind of just have to get a fingernail in there to flip that open, and then we can just go ahead and pop her right inside and then close it up. And she looks really cool inside. I think that works really well. Even with the lightsabers, I think that looks cool. I like that quite a bit. So it's a pretty simple ship in terms of design. I mean, the body doesn't even really have that much to it. But, you know, it's all about the wings here. I think the wings look great. Really nice translucent plastic here. It even has kind of like a honeycomb texture to it, which is really neat. Nice paint applications. So I like this a lot. I think this is really cool. You can go ahead and fold this back in. Now, I will say something to be careful about. When I first opened this up, I popped one of the wings off. And it's just kind of like a little U piece of plastic that connects onto like a bar of plastic in there. So if you pop one off, it's not the end of the world. You can kind of snap it back in. And you just want to be careful. You want this part on the outside so that when you kind of bring this up, it'll just kind of naturally stop when it hits this. So you bring this up to here, and then you can see the little plastic there just kind of comes up. And you might want to kind of push it in as you do it, and then it'll hit that natural stopping point. If you try to just grab it and pull it real quick, it'll more than likely kind of buck, and then that'll cause it to just pop off. I think that's kind of a safety thing. I think it's meant to pop off before it breaks, which makes total sense. I mean, I think that makes sense. If something's given excessive force, they want it to just pop off instead of snapping, so that way you can just connect it right back on. And so I think when I first took it out of the packaging, I accidentally pulled it up too fast or however that worked, and it just kind of popped off. But you can snap it right back on there. So like I said, you can't attach the stand, unfortunately, because obviously the wings are too huge. But it's a cool little ship. And then you can just orient the guns forward. And then we will attach the base. So I love the flight stand. I wish you could attach it in both modes with the wings compressed and fully extended. I understand why that's not really possible. But I love the inclusion of the flight stand. I wish more of the ships had those. And I love the way she looks in the cockpit. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So I think this one's a lot of fun. Definitely recommend checking it out. And like I said, hopefully we'll get some more Jedi in the future so the little figures can have battles. Definitely, like I said, this is giving me Micro Machines Action Fleet vibes, this whole line with the little figurines. And I'm just having a ball with it. So I think this is really cool. Definitely recommend checking it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.